Hi, Karina here, your Lucid Living coach. If you're new to my channel, I am a healing arts astrologer, and I'm here to give you the information about this new moon, Great American Eclipse at 19 degrees of Aries, which is happening Monday, April 8th. And it's conjunct exactly Chiron, which is the wounded healer. Now, Aries is about our drive, our passion, how we go about getting the things that we want out of life. And Libra is about partnerships and relationships. And looks like we got some ducks, a pair of ducks flying behind me. I am outside and I thought, oh, I don't even need a background because I have such a beautiful background today. And yeah, so I definitely, if you haven't seen my video for the Mercury retrograde, you're going to want to go and watch that one as well, because I do talk a lot about these transits that are also happening during this eclipse. And there's so much happening in the month of April. It's really hard to get everything into a video. So if you're interested in booking a personalized reading with me so I can go over everything that is specific for you, then you can head over to my website at www.lucidlivingmovement.com. But now this Libra and Aries polarity that we're having these two eclipses. So we just had a full moon eclipse in Libra on March 28th, paired with this new moon that's happening on April 8th in the sign of Aries. And this is all about polarity and balance between self and other. Our relationships are in focus at this time, and how we balance our needs with the needs of others. Now, Aries is one of the signs that rule the independence. It's more about independence, going about things alone, being the warrior to tread new paths when we're walking, let's say, going off trail and like have a samurai sword just chopping down and making the path. That's Aries. They don't need someone to go before them. They're like the lone wolves of the zodiac. And Libra, on the other hand, is opposite. And Libra is more, it's Venus ruled, and Aries is Mars ruled. So this is the ruler of this moon. But Libra is about codependence. It's needing the validation and permission to do things. It could be excessively emotional and psychological reliance upon their partners, and the focus is on the other person's needs. That's like the shadow aspects of Libra. Libra is all about balance and harmony and justice, and it sees all sides of a situation. Libras that have heavy Libra energy are going to be the best to go for advice, or if there's an argument, someone to see both sides and come up with a plan of action that is balance. Action is Aries. Balance and harmony is Libra. Most Libra energy you're going to find in the court system, like judges. Judge Judy is a Libra. With these eclipses, we're looking at our relationships. Are we independent? Are we codependent? And if you're feeling a little pulled towards more on one spectrum than the other, then it's time to bring them into an interdependence, which is the best for relationships, because you're not so independent where you don't need anyone and you don't take other people's needs in consideration, but you're not like completely codependent where you can't make decisions for yourself and everything is based around what your partner needs or the other person's needs. But interdependence is a perfect blend of these two. 19 degrees in step astrology is the sun and Mars. And Mars is the ruler of this eclipse. So Mars is the focal point. Let me pull up the chart for you to see. So Mars is here in Pisces. This is the end of its cycle. After this eclipse in Aries, because it's a new moon, it heralds new beginnings and a new 6-month cycle. And the last time we had these eclipses was in 2014, 15, 16. So think back in 2016 to see what was transiting for you in your life. And then you can kind of guess on what might be switching up now from then. Also, we have to look at the Great American Eclipse that happened last August 21st, 2017. That was a huge time for me in my life, as that was my North Node return in Leo. So the new moon eclipse was in Leo, and now it's in Aries. So we have two Great American Eclipse happening in the fire signs, and that is huge. Fire signs are about our passion and our purpose and our drive, and we're really looking at where we are to head next. Now we have this quincunx too happening. Saturn is right here with Mars. Mars is applying to Saturn. Saturn's about hard work, diligence, structure, and constriction. Saturn gets sometimes in our way of getting the things that we want in the time that we want it. So we could be feeling really like impatient at this time, with Mars and Pisces just trying to like let go of the need to move forward, as Saturn's there saying, hey, you got to do A, B, and C, and you have to be patient. Now is not the time. You have to work. We have to be working on ourselves and letting go of the past relationships, the past habits, and the past that has been holding us back from really stepping further into our future. Now, this quincunx is a very irritating aspect where Mars wants to move forward. Saturn's saying, you must wait, you must do A, B, and C. And the South Node is like, and there's all kinds of these things that you need to deal with. And sometimes the universe slows us down with either sickness or injury or plans not working out, natural events that slows us down to be moving forward into the new world. Now, speaking of new world, this over here, Jupiter is applying to Uranus and will be exactly conjunct on April 20th. This is heralding this new beginning on Earth. It could even be somewhat of a reset. Now, I am not sure, but if Uranus is involved and an Earth sign is involved and Jupiter is expanding it, I see earthquakes, okay? And we already have been seeing them. There was a really big one, I think a 7.1 or 7.4 in Taiwan, and I feel that even with this eclipse, eclipses are malefic by nature, and there's usually some kind of like falling or death or natural disasters that happen around eclipses. And this is a Great American solar eclipse, very similar to 2017. 2017, let me pull up this, and I thought it was very interesting, and so I wanted to share with you. So we have this eclipse path so I'll show you this one because I pulled up quite a few. So this is the eclipse path from 2017. I pulled them up individually, and then I found someone that already had done this. So we have 2017 going from the west to the east, and now this eclipse 2024 is going from the east to the west, which is very interesting. It doesn't seem natural. However, there is this cross point right here. And these are, and I'll show you this, it's the fault line of New Madrid fault system. And this is an earthquake zone that really threatens the 7 American states: Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Indiana. So I am going to stretch this a bit, but I would predict that we're going to see a lot more earthquakes on the East Coast and involving these states and New York. I'd say if we're going to have, and I know that we're due for a pretty big one, as they have been popping up all over the world, that we'd have a big earthquake coming up this year, especially with the sun flipping polarity. We're having more solar activity, which should be happening anytime from the end of this year to the beginning of next year. So I'm going to guess probably within this year that we're probably going to see some earthquakes in this area. Now I want to pull up this chart as we'll look at the US in comparison here with these eclipses and just see what we see. We're doing this together, guys. Okay. So we have here the US, okay, which is in the middle. We are a Cancer Sun conjunct Jupiter, Venus in Cancer, Mars in Gemini. We have a North Node in Leo, and we have a Moon in Aquarius. We are the humanitarians of the world, somewhat of the controller of a lot of things in the world. And we have 2017 eclipse at 28 degrees of Leo. And Mercury was also retrograde, but in the Earth sign of Virgo. And now in 2024, which is April 8th, we're having a 19 degrees. And that is in Aries with a Mercury retrograde in the sign of Aries. The 2017 eclipse was in our 9th house of foreign lands, higher education, what we believe. And now we're having the solar eclipse in the 4th house of home, how we nurture our country and ourselves to secure safety. And so I think there might be things coming up around protecting the US. This conjunction's happening in the 5th house, which is all about our creativity and our children. So we really want to be, focused on protecting our children and our home. And there's this Mars and Saturn conjunction in our 3rd house of communication. So even this Mercury retrograde and this like earthquake energy might be triggering something around our communications, either slowing it down or creating some kind of like grid failure, maybe a satellite or something that has to do with our phone systems or something like that, or internet, or who knows, it could be a cyber cyber thing too, but there's definitely something unexpected, and maybe it is more like a cyber attack, something that has to do with that. But you know, I'm just guessing. I'm throwing things out there. It's for us to try to like think about it together. And it looks like Venus was exactly conjunct the Mercury. But you know, 2017 was very special because that's when we had seen the neutron star collision that made that nebula. And it was pretty much proving Einstein's theory of relativity that we could actually see finally and have proof, you know, because theories are unreally proven. But and then like we saw the gold and platinum coming out of this nebula, so we really had an idea of where this gold and platinum was really coming from. So it's from neutron star collisions, which was really interesting. And I do remember at the end of 2017, it was the full moon in Gemini, and I just felt like a very aggressive energy. I felt like it was like the return of Christ or feminine energy. It was like the it was like dark energy, dark feminine energy, and then like there's dichotomy in the universe. So there was like more of this masculine hierarchy type energy that was coming, and then the Me Too movement, and there was all kinds of things that stirring up with women's rights. And you know, this time now there's a lot about our identity, and that's Aries. You know, Aries is our identity and ourself, and there's so many people that identify with things outside of the black and white, outside of just male and female. Now energy, like masculine and feminine energy, are in everyone, regardless of their physical goods. So I think a lot is going to be coming up around how we identify as well. So let's get back to the Sun Mars, ruler of this eclipse. And so Mars is the focal point. Let me pull up the eclipse. The eclipse thing again. Okay, here's the eclipse chart. And do you see there's not a whole lot going on here. There's like all the planets are on one side of the chart. Very heavy. This is a vampire chart, or a bowl of cherries, because this is the handle, which is the south node, and this is Black Moon Lilith, the dark feminine. And so this is about our balance with others, our relationships, our how we need to let go of just keeping the peace and keeping silence when we have all this energy of fight and resist and push things forward. And you know what's great? As a collective, this needs to happen. We need to be focused on our freedom and our rights here in the United States, as they are being questioned. There is a cause for concern here. And back, you know, at the 2020, when we had that Pluto and Capricorn conjunction with, I think it was Saturn, that was mimicking the 1700s, when they had the smallpox pandemic, and they had the Continental Congress was created, and we're still living in that kind of governmental system, which has been corrupted and it's been manipulated, and it doesn't work. The voting system does not work. There is some loopholes that are being used, and instead of the selected few making decisions on the mass majority of people, there are these small groups of people that are making this decision for the mass group of people, which is exactly opposite of why the Continental Congress was created. And then, we had the independence, the new world. And so we're coming in to this new world soon. And we need to create this this new structure and system and freedoms and laws around being in the metaverse, around being online, because that's where we're being pushed. Also, my prediction is that we're going to be fully digital currency by 2028. And another big push, some kind of pandemic, is going to start around 2028 at the end and 2029, because that is going to be some aspects that are exactly mimicking 2020's pandemic. So now there is just so much here to talk about, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but Mars is about moving forward. It's about our ambition. It's how we go about getting the things that we want. Now, Mars is applying to Saturn in Pisces, putting some brakes on the ball moving forward. So we may have to do some extra work and patience to complete these certain tasks that we want to move forward. Mars and Saturn are quincunx, the south node. This is one of the only aspects besides the sextile. So I'm going to talk about those two because they're important. When Saturn is in quincunx aspect with the south node in a transit, it can bring about a period of tension, adjustment, and concerning responsibilities and limitations, because that's Saturn. In karmic lessons, also Saturn associated with the past, which is the south node. Now, Saturn represents structure and discipline and challenges, while the south node signifies past influences, habits, and karmic patterns. Now, this transit may prompt you to confront old patterns, old issues, old relationships, and especially with that Mercury retrograde, which always brings people up from the past. So we might be running into our old lovers or our old friends or old bosses, and it's stirring up something within us and highlighting what needs to be worked through and healed from and let go, and having this maybe closure that we need. And this is going to help us move forward into this new cycle. Now, timeline shifts are happening, and we are being thrown on new, different paths if you haven't already. And with this, we're in an eclipse portal right now. This is Saturday, Saturn day, and we're feeling this Pisces energy of allowing and letting go. We're feeling a little foggy headed and maybe a little lethargic and Neptunian, like we're just feeling like escaping, like I've escaped up into these beautiful mountains. Now, this transit may prompt you not only that's going to pull up these old situations, because Mercury retrograde's like helping with that too, but it's requiring us to make some adjustments in order to align with these long-term goals. Now, it's time for an introspection with these retrogrades. Mercury retrograde facing limitation because it's in Mars, it wants to move forward, and reassessing our approach to our life, our path, and our obligations. Now, when Mars is in quincunx aspect with the south node, this typically suggests a period of tension, adjustment related to actions, assertiveness, desires, and connection with the past influences and the karmic patterns. Mars represents the movement, the action, the aggression, while the south node symbolizes the past habits, the past relationships, unresolved issues. And this transit may prompt you to confront these. So, like I said, it's bringing it up to the surface so we can clear it and cleanse it with that water Pisces energy. And so these behaviors and these people and these things that have been unsettled, okay, is really hindering our process of moving forward. So this is urging us to make these adjustments in order to move these things forward more efficiently. So it's time for reassessing our approach to how we take action, how we assert ourselves in alignment with our long-term goals. and how we're evolving through this. Now, Pluto sextile Venus, it's a nice little dance with the feminine and the transformational planet that's dredging things up from the past in order to heal it. And, you know, things to take on could be, you know, a greater emotional intensity right now, because Pluto is intensity. And we're transforming our relationships with others, including the relationship that we have with ourselves. It's so important that we are loving ourselves. We're giving ourselves that self-care and that time for meditation, and that time that we have to really be with ourselves and to ask ourselves what it is that we want, who it is we want to be, what it is we want to manifest, and start making a list of things that we need to do to get done to really make those things happen. Now, love and creativity transforms our life through letting go of our past. However, if you're not, we might not be quite sure yet as to what who those people are, or what these situations that have been unresolved yet, because the eclipse is just going to happen here on Monday, and it's the quincunx. So it's that quincunx to the south node with that Saturn and Mars that's making it a little like, okay, well, we might think we know who we need to let go of and what situations that we need to let go of, but sometimes eclipses with especially the Uranus and Jupiter conjunction, it like unexpected things happen, and it timeline shifts us onto something else. And we're like, whoa, I had no idea this was going to happen. So the people that, we're just, the eclipses are shuffling and shifting people and situations around. So there's something called the Devil's Comet that is here. And this comet, it takes about 71 years to make its move around the sun. So this is a once in a lifetime comet that we can see somewhat with the naked eye. And it's going to be close to the sun on April 21st. So it's going to be bright, but it's going to be really hard to see. And then it's going to be closest to Earth on June 2nd. So the best time to view is probably during this eclipse. If you're in an area where there's no overcast, because that's going to be Texas, sorry y'all that bought your overpriced tickets, because that was nuts. When I went to go see how much the tickets were to go see it in Texas, it was like so much more. It was like quadruple the amount. And I'm ending up flying out to Texas after the eclipse, because I'm like, that's dumb. Like, I'm not going to pay that much. I'm not going to get suckered into that corporate freaking stuff. They're like, they know that people want to go see this great American eclipse, and they're going to jack up the prices on us. I'm not falling for that. So I'll go out there and see the aftermath to see what's going on. And so, yeah, so the Devil's Comet, if you are in an area, which is probably going to be the East Coast, like Maine area, where people are going to see it the best, is this eclipse is going to cover that bright light. And then if you look over towards Taurus, Jupiter, it's going to be right by Jupiter. And it's, I think, by that constellation, is it Eberron? I don't know, but it's over by Jupiter and Taurus. And you'll see this comet if the eclipse is covering that space up. Otherwise, I think it's like right when the sun goes down, I think you'll see it right over there by the horizon before it goes down. But so a little about this comet is it was named the Devil's Comet, I think last year, because it had these horns. But now it's looking like a spiral. And I thought that was very interesting, because the spiral indicates for me like DNA, the masculine and feminine that are intertwining, partnerships, and how we are having these upgrades and these new expansive energies that are happening. Like, I feel because we have so many constellations, we only have these 12 zodiac signs, but I feel that as we evolve, that like the 13th sign, OPHIUCHUS, is becoming more visible, which is the serpent bearer. And the things that are being awakened and aware within our mind, it is a constellation. There's so much arguments around this in the astrology world, and the astronomy, right? The science of it. There is this 13th sign of the zodiac, right? But then there's also these 13 months of a woman's cycle. So I just feel like maybe this 12-month is not working for us anymore. So I'd be very happy to see maybe some shifts with that and some more research around that too. But in July of 1812, this comet was discovered by a French astronomer, Jean-Louis Pons, Pons, P-O-N-S. But then it was accidentally rediscovered in 1883 by an American astronomer, William Brooks, which led to the combined name. And the comet's last perihelion, the point in its orbit closer to the sun, occurred May 22nd, 1954. Luckily, we wouldn't have had to wait too long to see it again, as the next perihelion is expected to happen on April 21st this year. So we should check out, maybe do another video a later time and pull up May 22nd of 1954 and see what was happening then, and see if we could kind of predict what might happen and what kind of energy this comet is bringing to us. And that's what's so exciting about comets and unexpected things flying around the universe, getting close to our home planet, is that it brings information from the galactic galaxies of the heavens to our awareness. And I'm excited to see what happens. I know there's a lot of action that is happening around April. This is the most active and crazy month of this year, and it might be affecting people in very uncomfortable ways. However, it's always darkest before the dawn. So remember that if you're going through a lot, please reach out. I do coaching therapy. I'm a healing arts astrologer. All my stuff is virtual. So I do all my readings virtually. You just send me your birthday, your birth time, and your location, and I will put together a video for you. I'll even pick up some tarot and oracle cards for clarity. And I also host Paint and Sips, which is a fun way to connect with the community, talk about astrology, and also get creative in painting something that really represents how this energy is affecting you. And the next one for me will be April 20th at the Baltic Kiss. And that's a Saturday at 4 p.m. And we're going to be painting this beautiful butterfly. And I am just so happy and proud of this butterfly. It's just, when I look at it, it's just so touching. I'm going to read the Sabian symbol for 19 degrees of Aries, which was on point. And this is someone performing trephination. Okay. So the head densely holds the patterns of the past as fixed routes. So what this word means, someone performing, I had to look it up, but it's like, it's cutting the skull, like the head open. It's like doing surgery. So this is because Aries rules the head, and this is a new moon eclipse with so much going on that there are patterns of the past that are being rerouted. So there are points along the journey where everything must be dropped, and where all previous experience becomes no longer applicable. So you are treated to a destiny surge of power, which obliterates the traces of petty limitation and habitual tracks. A radical departure into the infinite unknown becomes the only way to go. So we are stepping in to the unknown as things are being radically shifted in our lives. So as the ego mind no longer bears the authority to command and dictate and coerce, vision is released. Awareness becomes visceral. Everything lights up directly. So we are being shown the path that we are to take. And as the old carcass is removed, the universal life force streams in, giving a much brighter angle and leaning to move in. Identity smashed to make room for the totality in a fresh and uninhibited expression and embodiment of its call and in its need for those who can drop everything and tune right into what needs to emerge here of itself. And that is the Sabian symbol for this eclipse. I'm going to shuffle these cards. These are the Joshua Tree cards. Whoop, there it is. Fell on the ground. This will be for the Tower card. Oh my God. That goes so well with this eclipse. The Tower card. Major Arcana. And this is, I think, in alignment with what's going on. Because Tower is about unexpected revelations, unexpected things, the cards falling down. It's turmoil, unexpected turns, rebuilding foundation, and storm. So the Tower, the Tower signals that the ground below you might as well be quicksand. At the speed of lightning, something has suddenly changed in your life or is about to. What you expected to be sturdy and invariable is not what it is promised to be. No wonder you are feeling unearthed. Remember, change is the only guarantee in this life, and whether we like it or not, we have to move with it. When one gate closes, another opens. Stay receptive to growth and allow for the unknown to surprise you. Take a moment to reorient yourself in this wildness. When a structure crumbles, the problem is likely with its foundation. After turmoil, you'd be wise to rebuild from the very bottom rather than spend your efforts on what has proven shaky in the past. You'll soon learn that no shifting dunes can be too fickle for those who find stability within. So that is saying so much, and it's just wrapping this whole eclipse season up. We have to clear the past. That's the whole, there's only pretty much 1 to 2 aspects of this eclipse, and that's the quincunx to the south node, and that's the sextile to Venus and Pluto. So we need to completely, as the things come to the surface, demolition Pluto man clears it, cleanses it with all that Pisces energy, and then we start rebuilding our new foundation so we don't have a house built on quicksand or unstable foundation. That is this whole eclipse season is all about this. Our relationships with ourself and the relationships around us. So find your team, find your person to build with, because after these eclipses shift and shake things up and move things away and out of our way so we could rebuild, then we could start building our empire. So thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting. I love comments. I love to hear you guys, like what you guys are going through, how this resonated from you. So if you could, just throw down some fire emojis if you have nothing to say, just to let me know that you made it to the end of the video. And I will see you on the next video. Peace out, your Lucid Living Coach, Karina. So here's Mars at 13 degrees, applying to Saturn. So on April 10th, Mars and Saturn will exactly conjunct at 14 degrees. There is a slowdown here. And I think it has to do with the unexpected shifts that are happening over here in Taurus. So maybe we had an idea of what direction we were going in. Mercury on the 25th will give us an idea and some messages and some direction again. And we're going to get this new opportunity that is happening at 19 degrees of Aries. Now, the cardinal signs are probably going to feel this the most with Mercury retrograde and this eclipse, and plus the full moon eclipse. Aries, this is it's a new beginning for you. And Libra risings, there is a new cycle in relationships and partnerships happening for you. And if we look at Cancers, this is something new. This is happening in your career and legacy. This 10th house is something new, cycles happening in your career and legacy. And then for Capricorns, something's happening in your 4th house of home, a new cycle in your home. So maybe you're moving. And then the other signs, rising Geminis, you're having a new cycle in friendships, and like you're going to be meeting new networks and new friends. Maybe you're going to have some falling outs, or maybe you're going to move. And Taurus, there's definitely something awakening within your unconscious that maybe you weren't aware of before. Maybe there's something that had completed in your job or the way that you work or your daily routine. Something has changed and it has put you in a place where you need to think about a lot of things that you haven't really had to deal with before. Leos, this is happening in your 10th house or your 9th house of your beliefs and the way that you use your voice and communicate. And it might be some opportunities traveling overseas or maybe you might have an idea of maybe something you want to study or go back to school for. Virgos, this is happening in your 8th house. So this is a new cycle with shared resources. You could be maybe getting married, or there's some loans or grants that come through for you if you're trying to buy a house, or an inheritance. It could even be a death or something like that, or maybe just hidden money that you didn't know was there. Also good for windfalls, so like gambling or winning the lottery of some kind. And for my Scorpios, this is happening in your 6th house. So something new. So it could even be just like a new job, a new way your work, a new routine, a new daily routine, new clients. Yeah, so that's awesome. And then Sagittarius, is this eclipse in Mercury retrograde is happening in your 5th house of love, romance, children, creative projects. So maybe you might be having a baby, or you might be birthing a new project. So finish up those old projects. Rising Sagittarius. Rising, I think I got everyone now. Ow. Mimi. Pisces. Pisces, this is happening in your 2nd house of resources. So this is a new cycle for providing for yourself and money. That money's going to be flowing in most likely. And you're just be careful driving. Be careful, because we don't want the money flowing in from an accident. Okay? Okay. And then Aquarius. Did I say Aquarius yet? I don't think so. Aquarius, this is happening in your third house. So yeah, something new happening in your communications, something that has to do maybe with your siblings or cousins, and the way that you move about your daily life, like, could be shifting or changing. So maybe it's a move. Yeah, it could just be that you unexpectedly had to move out of your place and you had to move somewhere else. So there is a lot going on, you guys, and that's for the solar eclipse and Mercury retrograde, because it's all happening in Aries. And we got some Pisces going on. It's the end of the world, Pisces, Saturn. And then when Neptune and Saturn move into Aries, this is the building of the new world. And I love you guys. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching to the end.